is it entirely a dumpable offense for a person you're in the very, very early stages of dating to gift you a counterfeit bag? It could be an honest mistake, but it could be illusory of other patterns and practices with that person. Get your gifts authenticated. Hi guys, so today's video is a little bit different, and I'm going to tell you the story of how even I, the luxury expert, the authenticator, the pre-loved resale insider, me, ended up with a fake bag amongst my belongings. Today is the story of how that happened, and we're just gonna do like a little bit of a chat about it. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you have any requests of videos or topics you would like me to cover about the luxury resale industry or what have you, then comment that down below. Now, I would say that the vast, overwhelming majority of counterfeits purchased end up with people who are intending to buy counterfeits. Now, where it gets messy and hairy and scary is when you end up with one unsuspectingly. The number one way is not by buying them on the resale market. The number one way is gifting, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Obviously, the resale market isn't perfect, and some companies definitely do have room for improvement of their intake process. Like this one, I shop them every day, but you know, it wouldn't hurt them to slow down a little bit. I'm just saying. Gifting is how counterfeits end up in the hands of people who don't know that the item is fake. I've seen this happen with clients of some of the companies that I've worked for. They'll go in and try to sell something that was given to them by a close friend or relative. Yeah, it's people disposing of items that they didn't purchase themselves. Sometimes it's like after a family member passes away. My toes curl inside of my shoes to have to be the one to tell someone that like their fabulous great aunt or whatever wore things that weren't real. I don't enjoy having to do that, but it is a part of my job, unfortunately. Sometimes it's just something that's just gifted to them. Don't get me started on people gifting their bags to their housekeepers. That's a thing. The number of times I've heard people who work in housekeeping like, oh, the lady who I work for just gave me her Birkin. So let's paint the background picture first. I'm 22. I am like a huge thrifter by this point in my life. I'm living in New York, and I am newly single. I go out with this guy on like a couple of dates, you know, it's kind of whatever at that point. And a couple of weeks into seeing this person, he gifts me this bag. And I know nothing about designer, like less than nothing. I see that like it says Celine on it right here in gold letters. I didn't know what Celine was. By the way, it is important to note, this story starts in 2013, so 10 years ago. I've had this bag for 10 years. You know, I live in a shitty apartment that I can barely afford. And this person will say is amongst a different class set to me, I guess we can say. Entirely different lifestyle, runs in entirely different circles. And, you know, I am impressionable at this point in my life. 22, haven't really been like out in the world all that much. This is before I even had a passport. Luxury and designer stuff is not even like in my remote horizon. Honestly, it's not particularly of interest to me, and I'm barely scraping by trying to afford like my basic necessities. At this point in my life, I'm a thrifter. I was told by the gifter of said bag that this was like a really rare exclusive color, super hard to get, etc., which meant nothing to me. And if I wanted to be very honest with this person who did not know me very well, obviously, I don't wear pink. I accept the gift. I don't even bother to look it up or Google it or anything like that. I just look at it and see it's a purse and it's pink, and I'm like, oh, okay, thanks. Sure enough, I get home. I decide to do a little bit of research. What the hell is this thing, and why did this guy seem so impressed with himself that he was giving it to me? I look up Celine purse, and I see bags that look, you know, like this one, that are like $2,000, and I'm like, Suffice it to say, receiving something at that of that value, or thinking I did, it really put me into like a different mindset. I was first obviously surprised, but I was really grateful and really really appreciative and like stunned, and it made me feel good about myself. Like prior to that, I had been like not living particularly lavishly, I guess we could say, and this to me was kind of a symbol of like how I deserved to be treated and courted, and like this was the caliber, I guess, of things that were possible for me, because before that like I said, it wasn't even at all on my radar. And this really at that time opened that up as a possibility. Like, wow, you know what? You're right. I am worthy of having nice things. By this point, this is literally the only nice thing that I own in my entire wardrobe. And, you know, I was really, really grateful to receive it, obviously, and I would wear it, even though pink? All of a sudden, I have my first ever nice thing, and I am like making outfits around it. All of a sudden, you'd think my favorite color was pink. I'm traveling with it on all of my trips, and we're going to like nicer and nicer places all of a sudden. No, oh my god, it's actually coming back to me. I remember getting on the airplane with this bag on my shoulder, and this lady stops me from first class, no less. And she's like, oh wow, that's a really cool color of that bag. And I'm like, wow, thank you. As we get closer towards each other, she can see it in all of its atrocity, and she starts like frowning, and I was like, that's weird. I'm completely clueless at this point. Revisiting this memory right now is just, this is like a belated wave of embarrassment that I didn't feel in the moment, and it's just like multiplying inside of me. I could claw my skin off right now. I'm so like belatedly embarrassed. I had no reason to even think or consider that I would have been given a fake bag by this person. This person was well-to-do, ran in, you know, high-tier social circles. We were traveling all the time, constantly going to like exotic locales and eating in all the nice fancy restaurants and having like fun parties with fun people. And when I tell you that I got on a private plane carrying this thing, years go by, and eventually this person, no less, gifter of that, gets me a job working in luxury resale when I know nothing. This is at a point where I know so incredibly little. The concept of someone spending $300 on a used purse is like to my brain. Which is why I have so much empathy for newbies into this entire world, because I was once you. And which is why I understand that you don't know what you don't know. So finally the day comes when I see a real Celine luggage bag for the first time. And I just remember touching it and thinking like, that's weird, mine doesn't feel like that. And I have no reason to suspect that I would have been gifted a counterfeit. And remember, I started working in this space in 2014. So I would say like that first 2 or 3 years, that's like the height, I would say, of the Celine luggage's popularity. So they were coming in and coming out. This was at a point where some of them were selling above retail, if you can even believe that in 2023. Months pass, and I am finally comfortable enough, like having seen other people bring in things that were not real, to kind of like have a hunch that, oh my god, is my bag not real? And sure enough, I do remember there was a point that, and you'll see it all over this bag. So the glazing on this bag started to like rub off on some of my clothes. And it is like this black stuff. You'll see it in a couple of places on the bag, like right here, for example. This is from the glazing, like just deteriorating and coming off over time onto surfaces that it comes in contact with. This actually is a defect that does happen with some designer bags. This has happened with a couple of Louis Vuitton collections around like the 2014, 2015 era, and it's one that they usually will give you a refund on the bag because it's what's called a known defect at Louis Vuitton, and it's not quality that they stand by. So that just goes to show you, like, your bag is not supposed to be doing this. It was getting on my skin when I would go to carry it, and like you can see, it's all over the strap here. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see this on camera, but they're different tones. Like, I would keep this stored with the strap inside of its dust bag inside of my closet, and it was starting to, I noticed that it was starting to fade really differently, and I just thought that it was super weird. Eventually I did stop wearing it because it was just like starting to ruin my clothes, and the black stuff was like coming off on me. Finally, one day, after I had been working with the company for maybe a year, by that point I had come in contact with bags that were counterfeit, and they were shown to my coworker. So I finally decided I want her to look at my bag, because I was kind of like getting a sense that something's not right here. Like, I've seen other Celine bags come in and they don't look like that. Like, they don't feel like that. The black shit isn't all over me. And I just remember like handing it over to her and just seeing like, you're probably wondering, like, did I ask the person who gave me this bag, like, if they knew that this was not real? He didn't try to, by that point, he didn't try to tell me that, like, it definitely was real, because, like, years had elapsed by this point, and he wasn't gonna try to convince me, but he said that he got it from, like, a guy that worked at Celine, which was like, okay, whatever. But personally, like, I will never know, like, the origins of this bag, how it came to pass that it ended up in the hands of my ex. Relationships are much bigger and broader than like a single gift 3 weeks into one, especially like over time. But I just do remember thinking, like, towards the end of it, like, if only I would have known. To me, counterfeits honestly are about pretending. And this is not judgment or shade on anyone. Well, wait, judgment and shade on one person. But this is not judgment or shade on any of you guys watching who may indulge in counterfeits. That's none of my business. You're grown people who make your own grown choices. I think it is totally okay to see this bag on the shelf at Neiman Marcus selling for, what are they now, $2,700. To look at, I'm gonna put this down, this one, and say, I don't want to spend $2,700. That is a rational opinion to have, especially if handbags and luxury and designer are not something that are of particular importance to you. I support that. I absolutely do support anyone saying that they don't think designer stuff is worth the money they charge. I'm with you, I get it. Honestly, I agree with that a lot of the time. But what I don't understand is wanting to pretend that you do have one. Because in my eyes, writing Celine in gold foil on this is pretending that this is a Celine bag. What is the point of pretending?
Actually owning any of these things doesn't really change anything about you intrinsically. And much like me in the beginning of this entire journey, when I thought that someone else buying this bag for me was a means of validation, I guess what it's taken me 10 years to realize is that I was always deserving of being treated well and kindly and with respect. And I'm certainly not any better or more worthy as an individual now that I have 27 purses that are actually authentic. If anything, in my specific case, all it showed was to the person that bought me this terrible bag was that I was a mark and I was gullible. And I'm sure it won't shock you to know that this person was not kind and respectful towards me. I think that too many people attach the wrong type of value to these designer brands and to these logos. Wearing a designer bag, it doesn't show you how much money someone has. It doesn't show you what kind of lifestyle they're living. It doesn't really tell you anything about them. And what I hope above all else is that it doesn't tell people how to treat you. because we all deserve to be treated fairly, kindly, and with respect and dignity. For me, it's all about being self-assured. It's about being confident, and it's about believing that you too are worthy, whether you have a bag with a logo, a bag with no logo, or no bag at all. So I guess once you're no longer using your things as a way of getting validation out of people, pretending just seems like a waste of time.
This person gifting this to me when I was a dumb, poor, struggling 22-year-old, they were pretending to be the type of guy that would gift their new girlfriend or whatever a $2,000 handbag. And I think that's just really wrong and manipulative and just dishonest. If nothing else, it's dishonest. Now, I will never know if he knew that it was a counterfeit when he purchased it. I will never know that, but this could have been an opportunity for me to see like the first red flag, and it would have put my life in an entirely different, probably better trajectory. But you know, every step in the journey brought me to where I am today, and one takeaway that I did have from this experience is that I have become so incredibly jaded when it comes to gifting. I never received anything else that was counterfeit or not genuine from this person ever again. Just for the record, this was a like stupid dumb gift in the very beginning. Let's put that part aside. But this experience and that entire experience just really like gave me the perspective on luxury gifting that I have today. And honestly, I think it's not a good idea. What I would constantly get from this person are things that like they wanted for me that I didn't want or like for myself. Just colors I don't wear, styles that I don't wear. Like one time I got a pair of Tiffany pearls. Tiffany pearl earrings? What? Anyways, the purpose of this video is not to bash my ex. I'm just really of the opinion now that like, it's just better, especially with things of value, to just pick out the thing that you would get the most best use out of in your own wardrobe, in your own life. Again, I do work in this industry. So often people come in looking for gifts for a spouse, for a sister, for a cousin, for a something, and they want to buy them like a handbag. And I just think that handbags, clothing, shoes, perfume, jewelry, all of that is just so incredibly personal. And to be very honest, like people do a very, very bad job in like assessing what a person in their life actually would want, love, or need. And which is why I say it's just better. Give them money, give them a gift card, give them a spa experience, like take them out to dinner. But buying a designer handbag for someone and spending that much money, not realizing that like they have the 15-inch laptop instead of the 13-inch laptop, like just spare yourself the headache. And for a moment we're gonna give this person the benefit of the doubt and say like, maybe you're shopping outside of your wheelhouse if you think this is what Celine bags look like and you're gonna give them to your new girlfriend. And we're going to leave it with, if you receive a designer gift, it's not the worst idea to get it authenticated. I'm just saying. Thanks so much for watching this video. Definitely send me some requests for more things that you'd like to see from me on the luxury resale industry, on authentication tips, on care and cleaning, on any of those things. And I will see you guys in my next one. Bye! See this on my arm? But this black stuff is flaking from the bag. It's not supposed to do this.